You're paying for Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and probably 3 others you forgot about. But while you're binge watching, these companies are doing things behind the scenes that make you question every subscription. From secret price manipulation to content they're hiding from you to the psychological tricks keeping you glued to your screen, the streaming industry has secrets they'd rather you never discover. I'm Mike with List 25, and these are 25 facts streaming services don't want you to know. 25. They remove shows you're actively watching. Streaming services love to talk about unlimited access, but here's the part they don't advertise. That access can disappear overnight. Shows get pulled mid-season, sometimes while people are literally halfway through binging them. No countdown, no big flashing warning. You log in, hit play, and it's just gone. And the notification? If there is one, it usually shows up after the fact. Probably just a quiet little, "This title is no longer available" message. Meanwhile, you were emotionally invested. You knew the side characters, you had theories. Now, it's all just digital dust. It's all because streaming platforms don't actually own most of what they host. Licensing deals expire, contracts shift, rights get sold to competitors, and poof, your comfort show vanishes into the algorithmic abyss, which honestly sucks. 24. Your subscription price is tested against you. Here's something most people never think about. The price you see might not be the same price someone else sees. Streaming platforms constantly run their A/B tests on pricing and plans. That means different users are shown different offers to see who clicks, who upgrades, and who cancels. 2 people in the same city, even the same house, can be shown different pricing experiments. These companies analyze everything. Your viewing habits, how often you log in, how long you browse before choosing something, what device you use, and even your location. All of that data is used to identify the highest price you'll tolerate before you hit cancel subscription. 23. The continue watching algorithm is designed to trap you. That innocent little continue watching row? Yeah, that's not just there to be helpful. It's engineered. Streaming platforms know the biggest risk to engagement isn't boredom, but hesitation. The moment you finish an episode, pause to think if you should continue watching. That tiny decision window is dangerous for them. That's where self-control lives. So they simply remove it entirely. By placing continue watching front and center, they eliminate friction. No time wasted, just one click and you're back in. Behavioral psychology calls this reducing cognitive load, which suggests that the less thinking required, the more likely you are to keep going. It subtly bypasses your executive function, or the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning and impulse control. And instead of making a fresh decision, you're just resuming momentum. And that momentum is powerful. 22. They own your reviews and can delete them. This one feels personal because reviews feel like yours. Your opinion, your voice. But here's the catch. When you leave a review on Prime Video, or most streaming platforms, you grant them a broad license to use, edit, or remove it at their discretion. That's buried in the terms of service most people never read. So yes, they can indeed take it down. For policy violations, moderation rules, spam filtering, or internal guidelines you'll never see. That doesn't mean they're deleting every negative review though. Platforms moderate for abuse and fake activity, but the power dynamic is one-sided. They control the platform and what stays visible. And it's not just about removal. Algorithms decide which reviews show up first as well, which get labeled most helpful, and which get buried where no one looks. Curation can be subtle. Sometimes it's about visibility, not deletion. 21. They can bury shows so deep you'll never find them. Not everything on streaming platforms is equally accessible. Sometimes they also quietly hide it. Entire shows can exist in the library but never appear on your homepage, never trend, never land in the category you browse. Because if the algorithm decides it's not strategically valuable for you, it might as well not exist. This happens for a few reasons. Sometimes a platform doesn't want to keep paying high residuals tied to view counts. Sometimes a show underperformed and they'd rather push a newer original. And sometimes they simply want to prioritize titles that drive subscriptions instead of ones that just fill space. The result? A massive catalog that looks huge on paper, but is practically invisible in your actual browsing experience. You don't see the whole library. You see the library they want you to see. And in the streaming world, visibility is everything. 20. They track your pause and rewind behavior. Every time you pause, rewind, skip ahead, or abandon an episode halfway through, that behavior is recorded. What you don't know is that streaming platforms don't just track what you watch, they also analyze how you watch it, down to the second. They can see which scenes people rewatch, where viewers consistently drop off, which episodes get binged in one sitting, and which moments trigger mass pauses. That data is compiled, anonymized, and shared with studios and creators to shape future content decisions. If millions of viewers rewind a shocking twist, that tells the producers something. Suppose large numbers stop watching during slow dialogue-heavy scenes, which sends another message. Over time, storytelling itself starts adapting to behavioral metrics. You're not just consuming entertainment, you're part of a live experiment, and your viewing habits are helping design what gets made next. 19. Top 10 lists are partially manufactured. You know those top 10 in your country today lists? I mean, they feel organic, like a real-time pulse of what everyone's watching. But they're not just raw view counts. Streaming platforms decide how views are calculated, and sometimes these can be just a few minutes watched counts, and the ranking systems often factor in things like promotional priorities, licensing deals, and strategic pushes. If a platform has heavily invested in a new original, guess what? That title is far more likely to get premium placement and visibility. And once something appears in the top 10, it snowballs. People assume it's popular, click it out of curiosity, and that engagement reinforces its ranking. It became popular partly because it was positioned as popular. So when you see trending number 3, it might reflect real interest, but it can also reflect what the platform wants you to see. 18. Password sharing crackdowns were always planned. Here's the kicker about password sharing. It wasn't some accidental loophole. Early on, streaming platforms encouraged it, or at least indirectly. Internal memos and marketing strategies reveal that allowing families and friends to share accounts helped boost subscriber numbers, expand brand awareness, and create habits around binge watching. It was free growth, basically word of mouth on steroids. But make no mistake, the crackdown was always part of the plan. Once the market matured and subscriptions plateaued, platforms started tightening rules, rolling out enforcement measures, and introducing fees for extra users. In other words, they let you borrow the keys to get hooked, and then eventually knocked on the door. It was growth by generosity, followed by monetization by restriction. 17. Content costs are being passed to you while quality drops. Over the past 5 years, subscription prices for streaming services have jumped by about 30 to 40%. That sounds steep, right? Meanwhile, production budgets for many shows have shrunk or been tightly controlled. Essentially, platforms are spending less on content while charging you more. The strategy is simple: convenience over quality. They're betting that you'll keep paying for access to a massive library, even if the shows and movies aren't as polished or ambitious as they used to be. Your dollars aren't just funding great storytelling anymore. They're paying for the ability to scroll endlessly, anytime, anywhere. It's a trade-off. Quantity and accessibility over craftsmanship and depth. And the math is working for them. 16. They cancel popular shows for financial reasons, not ratings. It's easy to assume that a beloved show gets cut because people stopped watching. However, the truth is far from what we assume. Sometimes it's nothing personal. It's just money matters. Actor contracts often include automatic raises after a few seasons. That means production costs climb steadily, even if a viewership stays strong. A series that was once profitable in seasons 1 through 3 can suddenly become too expensive to continue. Streaming platforms and networks constantly weigh profits versus cost. If a new show could attract fresh subscribers for a lower budget, the numbers start to favor launching something new instead of keeping the old series alive. That's why shows with devoted fan bases are sometimes canceled mid-storyline. For fans, it is frustrating. Cliffhangers, character arcs, and years of investment can disappear overnight. But in the streaming and network world, loyalty doesn't always translate into dollars, and profit almost always wins over passion. 15. Watch history influences your life insurance rates. Think your binge watching is private? Think again. Every click, pause, or rewind is tracked, and that data doesn't just stay with a streaming platform. Data brokers buy it and sell it, often to companies you wouldn't expect, like insurers. What you watch can subtly shape how algorithms see your risk profile. Watching extreme sports? True crime marathons? Health documentaries about risky conditions? That behavior might get factored into your insurance premiums whether you realize it or not. Your couch time choices, seemingly harmless, are quietly feeding a profile that could impact your wallet. In a world driven by data, even what you watch for fun isn't entirely just for you. 14. Free trials are designed to create habit loops. You probably think that a 7 or 30-day free trial is just a generous way to let you test a service. But that's not exactly how it works. These trial periods are carefully calculated. Behavioral psychology shows that new habits usually form after roughly 18 to 21 days, and streaming platforms know it very well. The trial is long enough for you to start binge watching, scrolling endlessly, and integrating the service into your daily routine. By the time the first payment hits, the habit is already cemented. You're not just trying a platform, you're being programmed to subscribe. 13. Content is geographically restricted even though it's digital. Ever notice that your Netflix subscription doesn't feel the same as someone else's in another country? That's because it isn't. Even when the price is identical, the content you get can be dramatically different. A US subscriber might have access to thousands more titles than someone in Australia or Europe. Licensing agreements, regional rights, and complex distribution deals mean the same service is really a different product depending on where you live. Digital borders may be invisible, but they're still very real, and you're basically just paying the same amount, but your options are clearly curated behind the scenes. So while it feels like a global service, what you can actually watch is anything but universal. 12. They know when you're watching alone. Your Netflix is not magically reading your mind. What's behind it is actually the algorithms. This thing doesn't just track what you watch, it also notices how you watch it. Are you binging late at night by yourself, or is the whole family crowding around the TV? They can tell. And it actually matters. Solo watchers get different recommendations than households with multiple viewers. If it thinks it's just you, expect thrillers, true crime, or edgy shows to pop up. But when you're in family mode, you'll see more kid-friendly or crowd-pleasing picks. Basically, your streaming platform is tailoring the experience based on who it thinks is in the room, even if you never told it. Creepy? Maybe. Smart? Definitely. 11. Skip intro wasn't just convenience, it was research. That little skip intro button you have there might seem innocent, but it's doing a lot more than you think. Every time you hit it, Netflix is taking notes of how many people skip, how quickly, and which intros actually keep viewers hooked. What feels like a small convenience is also a powerful data collection tool. That info feeds their algorithms, helping them decide how to design shows, structure episodes, or even plan future content. So your click is basically shaping the next season you watch too. 10. Sound mixing is designed to keep you from sleeping. Ever notice how some streaming shows feel a little off when you watch them at a low volume? Those quiet scenes that make you lean in, the subtle whispers or ambient noises that seem almost uncomfortable? Yeah, that's not an accident. Many streaming originals are deliberately mixed this way. The idea is to make quiet audio slightly irritating or hard to catch. They nudge you to turn up the volume. And why does that matter? Louder audio keeps your brain alert, boosts attention, and reduces the chances that you'll start nodding off mid-episode. Unbelievingly to you, that cozy late-night binge is actually being subtly engineered to keep you glued to the screen episode after episode. It's a small tweak, and it's almost imperceptible, but it's all part of a bigger design strategy. Comfort is secondary. The real deal is all about engagement. Keeping your eyes open, your brain stimulated, and your finger ready to click next episode is what matters most. 9. They test thumbnails on you without consent. If your Netflix subscription price isn't the same as someone else's, don't assume everything else is either. Even the thumbnails can be different. In fact, streaming platforms run constant A/B tests on thumbnails, changing them based on your age, location, viewing history, and even the time of day. That cute cat in a documentary, or the dramatic close-up in a thriller, are all carefully designed to catch your attention. And you're part of an ongoing experiment without even realizing it. Each time you hover, click, or scroll past, the platform collects data to tweak what you see next. With that, your browsing experience isn't just personalized, it's also engineered. Your next click shapes what you watch, how long you watch it, and even what you think you want to watch. It's pretty much like you're living in a digital lab, and the experiment just never ends. 8. New release dates are often fake. Ever get that weird deja vu when a new release trailer feels oddly familiar? That's probably because it is. A lot of what's labeled as new isn't brand new content at all. Sometimes it's a show that quietly left the platform and got re-added months later. Other times, it's the exact same title with a fresh thumbnail, a new banner, or a slightly tweaked trailer to make it feel recent. Platforms do this deliberately to create the illusion of constant freshness. By cycling content in and out, they manipulate your perception, making it feel like there's always something exciting to watch. Even if the truth is, nothing's actually changed, your brain simply interprets it as novelty, keeping you clicking, scrolling, and binging longer than you intended. It's a clever trick that guides your attention by subtle illusions, and your excitement for new content is being gamed without you realizing it. Because in the streaming world, what's old can always feel new again. 7. Watch parties generate harvested social data. Using a watch party might feel like just hanging out with friends virtually, but behind the scenes, streaming platforms are quietly taking notes. Every time you coordinate a viewing, they're mapping your social network, even if you've never actually friended those people on the platform before. They can see who you watch with most often, how frequently you sync up, and which connections influence your viewing habits. That data doesn't just stay idle. It feeds algorithms to recommend content, suggest new watch partners, or even target ads. Basically, every virtual movie night you make is subtly revealing who matters to you and shapes what platform you think you'll want to watch next. It may be just pure fun for you, but it's data for them. 6. Exclusive content exists to trap you. All those must-watch originals aren't just about giving you great entertainment, they're about keeping you from hitting cancel subscription. Streaming platforms carefully design their content strategy around retention, and not necessarily quality. They invest enough high-demand shows or movies to create FOMO. So even if most of your viewing could happen on other platforms or through other sources, the lure of exclusives makes leaving psychologically uncomfortable. In short, you're not just paying for shows, you're paying to stay in the system they've carefully crafted to keep you hooked. 5. They profit when you forget to cancel. Believe it or not, a big chunk of streaming revenue comes from people who aren't even watching. These zombie subscribers haven't opened the app in months, maybe even years, but they're still paying. Most of the times because canceling feels like a hassle. Some estimates put that number at 20 to 30% of total subscription revenue, and that's pretty huge. Streaming platforms know this and don't mind one bit. They've designed friction into the cancellation process, making it easy to forget, easy to ignore, and easy to keep paying. Laziness is literally lining in their pockets. So while you're focused on what to watch next, a significant portion of the platform's profits comes from people who aren't even watching at all. That's retention engineering at its finest, and it's happening behind the scenes every single day. 4. Resolution is secretly throttled based on your plan. So, you're watching in crisp cinematic 4K? Yeah, maybe not. Even if your internet connection is more than capable, platforms can quietly downgrade your video resolution during peak hours or when their servers are overloaded. And here's the kicker. There's usually no warning, no alert, literally nothing to let you know what you're seeing isn't the premium experience you signed up for. It's just a small, almost invisible tweak, but it's another way streaming companies control your experience while maximizing efficiency and minimizing costs. You think you're getting the best picture, but the reality is often a little less cinematic than advertised. 3. International content disappears for political reasons. Streaming platforms often remove content in specific regions due to government pressure or political sensitivities, and when they do, they rarely announce it. Episodes that critique certain regimes, touch on taboo subjects, or explore controversial topics can quietly disappear, leaving you with gaps in series you thought you were following. This is basically self-censorship baked into the business model to avoid trouble and keep operations running smoothly worldwide. So while you're focusing on picking your next binge, the reality is that your access to information and stories is already being shaped by politics and corporate caution. And sometimes the content you can't see says more than what you can. 2. Your kids' profiles train advertising algorithms. You see a colorful kids' profile and think, cute, safe, just cartoons. But behind those animated thumbnails, something else is happening. Every show they watch, every cartoon they binge, every recommended for you click is being tracked. This data doesn't just disappear. It builds detailed advertising profiles that follow them well into adulthood. Companies like Disney are essentially creating lifetime customer profiles starting from toddlerhood. Your 3-year-old isn't just watching cartoons, they're already being analyzed, categorized, and marketed to, with patterns of preference logged and stored for years to come. It's subtle, invisible, and entirely normalized. But make no mistake, that adorable movie night is quietly shaping how your child will be targeted as a consumer for decades. 1. The algorithm wants to create addiction, not satisfaction. You probably assume the algorithm's goal is to just suggest great shows that people love. But that's not really the game. They care far more about keeping you glued to the screen. Internal research from multiple services shows that the key metric isn't happiness, satisfaction, or even quality content. It's purely for engagement. They're constantly tweaking recommendations, autoplay features, thumbnails, and notifications to make you watch more, scroll more, and click more. A user who's frustrated but still binging? Worth more to them than someone who logs off satisfied after an episode. In other words, your emotions are secondary. Your attention is the main product. These platforms are optimized for addiction, and every interface choice is designed to keep your eyeballs on the screen longer, whether you like it or not. The next time you open your favorite streaming service, remember, you're not just choosing what to watch. Every click, every pause, every late night binge feeds an algorithm that constantly learns from your habits and shapes what shows up on your screen. You're not just watching content. The system is watching you right back, tracking what you finish, what you abandon, what you replay, and what keeps you hooked the longest. If this changed the way you think about streaming, subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden system shaping your digital world. And if you're looking for something worth letting the algorithm recommend, check out 25 best Netflix original series you don't want to miss. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content, and I'll catch you next time. Gonna go watch some Disney Plus.